Hey guys, and welcome back to the Prehistoric Life Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're going to dive right in with our first episode in Jurassic June. So I'm starting this week off for the first week of Jurassic June. I'm starting off strong with a double battle. Also because last week I may or may not have forgotten to do a battle. I say forgotten, but I just did something else instead of a battle. But we won't talk about that. We talked about chaos theory. Needed to get that up early. But we won't talk about that. But welcome to the first episode in Jurassic June. And today we're starting off right with a good, powerful battle: the Axe Jaw Allosaurus versus Killer Croc Baryonyx. Although I think I called Suchomimus Killer Croc. Maybe the fisherman. I don't remember. I called one of them Killer Croc, but still, pish posh. So today we're gonna dive right in with this analysis. We're gonna start off with the analysis of the Allosaurus. So this thing is coming in at a whopping 28 to 32 feet long. Wow, this thing is long. Coming in at about 2.5 to 3 tons. And it's about 16 feet tall. I mean, wow, this thing is a huge Goliath, an absolute unit. And the most unique thing about this critter is that look at this thing. It's got that crest on its head. It's a different lizard. This camera could stay. Maybe I could. Okay, camera, stop doing that. Stop turning. I don't know what's wrong. Stop. You're turning too much. Sorry, talking to the camera. So look at this thing. So one of the most interesting things, other than its insane forelimbs that it could use to actually grapple, Baryonyx has that too, but we'll talk about that when we reach Baryonyx, is its upper jaw. So unlike most dinosaurs where they just kind of bite, Allosaurus does an axe motion and swings its upper jaw and kind of hacks with its upper jaw, or kind of grazes off bits of flesh. So this thing actually has a surprisingly weak bite force, and it's approximately 3,572.56 newtons of force. I say weak like it couldn't just bite you and kill you instantaneously. But the thing is it's not a biter as much as it is just a how do I word this? Basically a living honey badger axe. I know that's probably a weird way of describing things, but this thing is basically the living honey badger axe. I don't know how else to describe it, and it is a absolute unit of a monster of a dinosaur. So now we're going to actually move on to the Baryonyx. Actually, I'll try and turn him this way so y'all can kind of look at his face a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So we're actually going to move on to the Baryonyx. I need to find my Baryonyx page. There it is. Coming in about 25 to 33 feet long. So Allosaurus is a little, like, not shorter, but shorter, if that makes sense. It's less long. Coming in about 1.2 to 2 tons and about 8.2 feet tall. Oh yeah, Allosaurus is about 16 feet tall. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, Baryonyx is a little munchkin compared to Allosaurus. I'm kidding. It's about half the height though, which is really surprising. Okay, why isn't anything staying? Stay. Thank you. So Baryonyx is shorter and it weighs less, but let's look at its bite force. Maybe that's its redeeming quality. And no, it is not. Coming in at a bite force of 3,416. Allosaurus's bite force is 3,572, so it has a little over 100 pounds. Allosaurus has a bit over 100 pounds of bite force on Baryonyx. So Baryonyx will have a disadvantage of that. Baryonyx will have that disadvantage. But let's look at the other qualities of Baryonyx. So look at these giant mandibles. They each have usable forelimbs, so that kind of negates each other. They can kind of arm wrestle, if that makes sense. That actually worked pretty well. But here's the thing about Allosaurus. Where it has just like a claw like this. I guess it is just that claw. This is a middle claw. Instead of just having, where it does have fairly large claws. That's a huge claw. Don't get me wrong. This thing is massive. But Baryonyx, similar to other Spinosaurus and Spinosaurids. Also, I forgot to mention right now, if you want to go, you know what? I'm plugging myself right now. We're doing that. We're getting the Instagram page up. Remember to go check me out on Instagram and other social medias. But for right now, check me out on Instagram. I should have a link in my bio that opens up to a dinosaur family tree. Maybe. So it should open up into a dinosaur family tree. If this will load, please. So I did create a dinosaur family tree for the generic dinosaur family trees. So if you want to go check that out, it is on my Instagram, and anybody should be able to access it. Maybe. Hang on. Gotta wait for it to load. Maybe. So we're looking at the Theropodia down here. So, I'll go down a little bit more. It breaks off really, really far. In here, you see we have Spinosauria. So, like other Spinosaurids, hang on one moment. Baryonyx. Now, this one is specifically Spinosaurus, so it's not a Baryonyx claw, but you can definitely see these are also scaled down, so it's not really a fair comparison. But you can see the giant, drastic difference between these claws. Allosaurus is a bit more stumpy, maybe a bit stronger. Well, Baryonyx is longer sickle, not really sickle, but longer claws are a lot more for jabby catch the fish. But yeah, you can definitely see the difference between the two claws. But now we're going to just go ahead and dive on into this battle, into this gruesome battle. But first, a word from our sponsor. So, you know what? Take it away, sponsor Eric. Thanks, Podcast Eric. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you love looking at these amazing creatures that I show you, and even talking about these amazing creatures that I talk about, and you want to go see them in real life, I heavily suggest you look at Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips, created by Zach, gives you behind-the-scenes in-look at museums, and he even takes people out to digs. So if you sound interested in that, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them that Prehistoric Life sent you, and they will give you $250 off your tickets. And here's their Instagram if you're interested in giving them a follow. So, yep. Thank you, Ad Eric. We're going to dive right into this fight. So, in a creek in the Jurassic period. Although Baryonyx is Cretaceous and Allosaurus is Jurassic, so they would not have met at all in the slightest. We won't talk about that. So in a creek in the Jurassic period, a Baryonyx climbs out of the water and sees a lone Allosaurus hunting away from its pack. The Allosaurus notices the Baryonyx and they screech at each other. Baryonyx charges in, distancing itself from the creek. And Allosaurus and Baryonyx lock eyes. This is where our battle begins. Fight! I don't know. Allosaurus charges in at Baryonyx. Baryonyx is able to barely jerk its head back in time as Allosaurus tries to snap at the face, but the tip of the snout gets bit. Just a little bit of flesh is torn off. Baryonyx isn't harmed that much. Baryonyx roars and screeches at Allosaurus, and Allosaurus actually headbutts Baryonyx. Whack! Knocking its head over. Baryonyx takes its long claws and slashes the face of Allosaurus. I actually can't speak today. Dang. Slashes the face of Allosaurus. Allosaurus, mad now, charges in at Baryonyx, ramming into the side, using its superior weight, almost double the weight of Baryonyx, to just knock it completely over. Baryonyx getting up, tries to kick, and it kicks Allosaurus in the face, but Allosaurus bites the leg of Baryonyx and rips the flesh off. At this point, Baryonyx is screeching out as it tries to stand up. Baryonyx is roaring, and it's using its front limbs to push itself up, but Allosaurus takes its axe jaw and hacks down onto the shoulders of Baryonyx. Baryonyx's arms go numb as Allosaurus rips its jaws out and does it again, and rips its jaws out and does it again and again until Allosaurus's arms are starting to go, or not Allosaurus, Baryonyx's arms are starting to go numb. But Baryonyx quickly turns and slashes Allosaurus right in the chest. That long claw leaving a huge gash on Allosaurus. Allosaurus actually takes his claws and grabs the snout of Baryonyx and grabs right about here on the neck, and then takes his jaws and slams them down onto the neck of Baryonyx. Baryonyx screeches out as it snaps at one of the hands of Allosaurus, snapping at the hand. It starts to try to crunch on the fingers as Allosaurus takes its bottom jaw and swings it up, hit the bottom throat of Baryonyx, cutting that out. Allosaurus then rips part of the throat out, tosses it away, and then it goes back in for round two, hacking at the jaw, or hacking at the upper neck, taking out another chunk and another chunk. Allosaurus then, at this point, bites Baryonyx and picks it up a little bit and slams it on the ground. It does that one more time, picks it up by his neck and slams it on the ground one more time. Baryonyx, dazed, injured, hurt, tries to start to get up, but Allosaurus then bites the stomach of Baryonyx, ripping part of the side off, and then just gouges itself, pushing ribs out the way, breaking its ribs, moving its ribs, dislocating its ribs from its spine as Allosaurus starts to feed on the intestines of Baryonyx. Baryonyx is screeching and moving around, but Allosaurus just puts its foot on the side, on the shoulder of Baryonyx, and just puts all its weight onto it as it keeps feeding on the inside of Baryonyx. Baryonyx in a pool of its own blood, spitting up blood. Allosaurus, this honey badger dinosaur, starts to just, like an owl, like a bird of prey, consume Baryonyx still alive. No mercy, no peace among animals. Allosaurus is just feeding on Baryonyx. As Baryonyx slowly bleeds out, its eyes close and it dazes off. It starts to fall asleep, but it's trying to stay awake, kicking awake. With one last measly, Baryonyx head hits the ground, and it passes out. Allosaurus continues to feed, ripping out intestines, organs, eventually probably reaching the heart of Baryonyx and ripping that out too. Baryonyx bleeds out. Dead. Gone. So, yeah, Allosaurus is the victor in a very brutal and bloody way. Allosaurus, like I said, was like a lot of birds of prey where it probably just held you down and consumed you while you were alive. Mercy is not a animal thing. Most of these dinosaurs usually don't have this. They don't really kill you then eat you. Allosaurus probably didn't, or most likely probably didn't. It probably just held you down and just ripped out whatever it could find, or it skin grazed like it most famously does. But Allosaurus is almost, it towers over Baryonyx. It weighs a lot more than Baryonyx. Its bite force was stronger than Baryonyx. The only thing Baryonyx really had, the reach would be negated of Baryonyx's jaws because it would be shorter. So Allosaurus would still have that reach. But the only thing Baryonyx somewhat had on Allosaurus is claw size. I mean, Allosaurus had some massive hands and some massive claws, but Baryonyx's longer claw would just dominate. If it came down to literally just claw fighting, Baryonyx would probably take the cake. But it doesn't. Allosaurus just dominated over Baryonyx. So, yeah, Allosaurus is our victor. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and like I showed earlier, please go check out my dinosaur family tree. This is the first episode in Jurassic June. But, yeah, I'm your host, Eric Crawford. Follow me on Instagram for additional content. I try to post a lot more stuff on there. If you want my content early, I try to post it a few days earlier on the YouTubes. I try to post it 2-ish days earlier. And if you want all of that in one place, go follow me on. Well, don't go follow me. Go look at my website at prehistoriclifepodcast.com. From there, you can get to my YouTube and my Instagram. And I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, morning, evening, or night, and have a good Jurassic June. Signing off, I'm your host, Eric Crawford. I'll see you all next time, and remember, keep it prehistoric. Bye.